The realm. The realm is the part of the ghost universe that describes what happens when awareness stretches beyond its ordinary borders. Not through imagination, not through belief, and not through effort, but through those moments in life when the edges of the self loosen and something larger begins to move through you. The realm is not a place and not a destination. It is a condition of consciousness, a widening, a thinning, a dissolving of the normal boundaries that keep you anchored in your familiar shape. People reach the realm in many ways, though often without naming it. It appears in moments of profound grief when the world feels too heavy to make sense. It appears in birth and near-death experiences where time changes shape. It appears in the quiet moments after an argument, when something breaks open inside you and suddenly everything feels unbearably clear. It appears in deep meditation, in the softness after orgasm, in psychedelic states, in dissociation, in dreaming, in shock, in revelation, in awe. The realm is where the self becomes porous. It is where memory expands beyond your personal story, where presence becomes too large to hold within the body, where light feels like it is coming from inside you instead of outside you, where dark feels like an ocean rather than a weight. The realm is not mystical, it is not supernatural, it is simply what happens when the nervous system, the psyche, and the deeper layers of awareness open at the same time. The realm is where the dot becomes more than a center. It becomes a field. In ordinary life, the dot feels like a point of stillness inside you. In the realm, that stillness expands outward. It stops feeling localized. People who experience this often say that they felt like they were dissolving or merging or floating or becoming something they cannot describe. What they are sensing is the dot without borders. The origin presence before it takes shape inside the mind and body. The realm is not always comfortable. It can be beautiful. It can be terrifying. It can be peaceful. It can be overwhelming. It is not designed to feel one particular way. It is simply what happens when the structures that normally organize your experience loosen for a moment. The mind stops holding the world in fixed shapes. The body stops holding emotions in familiar patterns. The self stops insisting on itself. The realm is a suspension of the usual. In this suspension, things feel possible that normally feel unreachable. Insights appear suddenly. Old memories rise with unusual clarity. Emotions feel sharper or softer, or strangely distant. You may sense the presence of someone who is not physically in the room. You may feel as if you are watching your life from the outside. You may feel held by something you cannot name. You may feel connected to something far bigger than your personal story. The realm is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is subtle. A moment on a train where everything feels unusually quiet. A conversation that leaves you feeling as if time slowed down. A sudden realization that makes perfect sense even though you cannot explain it. A moment of standing at the sink washing dishes, when for just a second you feel the border between yourself and the world dissolve. People often assume the realm requires spiritual practice or discipline, but the realm does not respond to practice. It arrives when life stretches you beyond your usual shape. It arrives when you are open, or shocked, or worn down, or softened, or undone. The realm appears when the line between inner and outer loses its certainty. If the codex describes the part of you that does not move, the realm describes the part of experience that moves beyond you. Some people reach the realm through trauma, but the realm is not trauma. Trauma can destabilize the boundaries of the self, and in that destabilization, realm-like states can appear. But the realm is not defined by injury. It is defined by openness, the same openness that appears during birth, during lovemaking, during psychedelic journeys, during meditation, during breathwork, during illness, during grief. The through line is not suffering. The through line is threshold. The realm is a threshold state. Threshold states are places where you are no longer who you were, but not yet who you are becoming. They are the moments where the self is rearranged, not because you choose it, but because life demands it. The realm reveals the architecture of these thresholds. In the realm, time does not behave. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like seconds. Memories from decades ago feel present. The future feels near. The past feels alive. The boundaries of identity soften. You become aware of the space around you in a different way. Colours feel sharper. Sounds feel slower. Sensations feel layered. The realm makes the invisible visible. People rarely talk about the realm because they do not know how to describe it without sounding dramatic or ungrounded. But the realm is not ungrounded. It is what happens when the ground itself becomes more expansive. It is what happens when awareness moves beyond the narrow strip of consciousness you usually inhabit. You have been in the realm before, perhaps after a birth, perhaps during heartbreak, perhaps in the seconds after receiving devastating news, perhaps during sex, perhaps during meditation, perhaps on a mountaintop, perhaps holding someone who is dying, perhaps watching your child sleep, perhaps staring at the ocean, feeling yourself dissolve into it, perhaps under the influence of psychedelics, perhaps during illness, when you are too tired to hold your usual shape. The realm is not foreign. It is simply unspoken. The realm is where the dot reveals its largest truth, that you are not separate from anything, that awareness is relational, that presence lives beyond the borders of your story, that memory is not just yours, but part of a larger field, that light and dark do not belong only to you, but move through you as part of something broader. In the realm, people often experience a profound sense of connection, not just to others, but to the world itself. The sense that everything is held within something larger. The sense that nothing is truly lost. The sense that love continues. The sense that the world has depth beyond what the mind can articulate. These experiences are not fantasies. They are the nervous system touching something real, but rarely available. And yet, the realm is not a place to live. It is a place to pass through. Staying in the realm for too long can destabilize the self. It can loosen identity faster than the psyche can reorganize. It can overwhelm the body with information that has no container. The realm is meant to be visited, touched, experienced, then integrated back into the ordinary. Ordinary life is where the realm becomes meaningful, not in the moment of dissolution, but in the return. When you sit at your kitchen table the next morning and something feels different. When you speak to someone you love and notice a new softness. When you walk outside and the world feels slightly more alive. When something in you has rearranged itself without needing explanation. The realm is not transformation. The realm is revelation. What you do with the revelation is movement. What remains after the revelation is truth. For some people, the realm opens the door to the pull, the final layer of the ghost universe. The pull is not a state. It is not an altered experience. It is the horizon that the realm points toward. The realm shows you that awareness is larger than you imagined. The pull shows you that life is leaning towards something that cannot be reached, only sensed. Love often brings people into the realm. The realm often brings people into contact with the pull. And so this is where we go next. Into the horizon that waits at the far edge of experience, the quiet force that draws you forward without explanation. The pull.